Former prisoner and inmate.
You did it.
What are you doing, Guns?
You bit the hell out of me.
Wanna see you with your hands up. Going straight to the sky, let me see you put your hands up. Cause we do till we die and we on another level.
I'm at New York City.
To the rest of your body, got a piece of the pie. Told you once, told you twice that we only got one life.
On the way to achieve success after prison, and he's going to share his story with us right now.
Diamond shine, best at night. You wear yours, I'll wear mine. Go dumb tonight.
Go ahead, please. Sit down and write your book and tell me what you created.
So I sit down to write my book. And I took stories, from my childhood and all that and growing up, and I put them into fictional characters because it's more entertaining. And Boston is one of the, as you know, in prison is one of those states that we all stick together, white, black, Spanish, Chinese, doesn't matter what race you are. If something jumps off in prison and you're from Boston,
You got to get in your car.
it's mandatory that you're there for your boys if you're a good guy. So, in my book, my movie that I wrote, my series, I have 5 guys from Boston that met each other in juvie, all different races that stuck together. It's like a Sopranos, but all different races, and it's like an entourage too, because they're all friends. They're chosen family. It's a very entertaining book, and it's, like I said, mixed in with real life stories, but just fictional characters have played it out.
Well,
So I'm writing this book in solitary confinement, from stuff I had. But when I got out of solitary, like I said, I had that spiritual awakening, the epiphany, whatever you want to call it, smartening up, changing my life. So when I got out and I was, volunteer, I had premier housing. They let me move back to where I was because I had been at this prison so long. They put me back to premier housing, and I gave it all up to take care of sick and terminally ill inmates. But another thing I did was I took online correspondence classes, college classes, and one of the classes I took was paralegal. So I got very good with the law. I had already been messing around with the law and challenging everything I could in my case. Could never win anything.
me neither, bro.
And, yeah.
Me neither.
So
I appealed it to the Supreme Court on every level, and they all rubber stamped it. Frick out of here.
Yeah. So what I did is I got 2 guys home, but I couldn't get myself home. I got 2 from the law work, and I always kept up on things. So when I was doing, I took 55 educational classes when I got out. And because I did so well, with the inmates that were sick and terminally ill, the warden came to me and he said, you're doing great. When you can get to the next level down, where would you like to go? I'll send you wherever you want. And I said, I want to be home close to my mom.
Yeah.
And he sent me to Massachusetts, to Fort Devens, and there they had a dog program.
Yeah.
And I volunteered and I took care of the dogs. I was a service dog trainer.
Dogs for the blind, right? Raising dogs for the blind.
No, for anybody with I had one of my dogs went to somebody with PTSD. Another one went to a hospital for troubled teens. Another one actually went. The third dog I graduated went to a courthouse, and it was like a
Bomb sniffer or something?
comfort. No, he's a comfort dog for young kids that were testifying. So that were like, on their father who was abusing them or whatever.
Yeah.
So I helped graduate 3 dogs, and I was
takes
proud
a
of that.
while. What's that? Like at least a year. It takes at least a year, doesn't it?
Yeah, 13 months, and they live with you right in your cell. I had dogs.
I know. We had a dog program where I was. So I had a bunkie. He's like, you want? I said, I don't want a dog in the cell. I like dogs. They're cute. They're puppies, but they're a lot of work. They're dirty. They smell. I did the crapping and crap. Got to take them out. No, I don't want a dog myself, but I'm happy to pet them. I love the little puppies, and the dogs. We had the same thing.
Yeah, but see, when I was on the dog program, from doing so well, I was at a camp. So if the dog had to go in the middle of the night, you wouldn't have to go in the cell. I would take him outside, and
Yeah.
the guard would let
Yeah, you
you
were
out
in a
the
camp.
front.
I was
Yeah.
at a level 4 that had been converted to a level 2, which is, you're locked down 14 hours a day, and we're in the cells we were at. So you're in 14 hours a day, at least, not maybe more, 16 hours a day, you're locked in the cell. You're gonna be in there with this dog. But I know if they would have said we have a cat program, I would have done it. I was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? As a cat, I can just snuggle up on my bed and hang out, but they never had cats. I'm just saying.
To be honest, those dogs were like PTS dogs for me.
I'm sure.
Because I love dogs, and they kept me grounded, and that's what they helped me a lot. I was in that program for a couple of years.
You got good time, I'm assuming. So tell me what the evolution of your end of your bit. Mom waited for you, and tell us.
Yeah,
how
mom
you
was
got
there
out.
mom was there for me all the time. When I was in Massachusetts, even though I was training the dog, they didn't like me, the guards, because my co-defendant was a dirty cop. So they would torture me. Anytime they would find a cell phone, they would just put me in solitary confinement for nothing, even though I didn't have anything to do with the phone. I went to solitary confinement like 2 or 3 times for 90-day investigations, just because they picked me, because they didn't like me because of my co-defendant. So finally, I had enough of that. They were opening another prison in Berlin, New Hampshire. They needed people, so I volunteered and I left Massachusetts, and I went up to Berlin, which is right near Canada. It's freezing cold, but it was the best prison I was ever at because the guards left you alone. So when I was up there, I did all kinds of legal work. And when Trump signed prison reform in 2019, he changed the rule on compassionate release. I have to back up. In 2016, while I was at the prison in Massachusetts, my mom had a rare stroke through her spine, and she became paralyzed. Now, my father had died in 2012. My sister died the year I was locked up, so she had nobody. She had my kids, but she had no immediate family members left. I mean, children in their 20s, they have lives, so they didn't want to take care of her. So she was going to have to go into a nursing home. So I made sure she could be okay out of a nursing home. We hired caregivers, and I kept filing motions for compassionate release to go home and take care of her. So when Trump signed prison reform, there was a clause in it: if the warden of the institution you are at denies your compassionate release, you can now go to federal court. So the warden rubber stamp denied me. I put in a motion to federal court, and I got a hearing, and the court appointed me a lawyer, but I got somebody I knew to do it. They did it pro bono. They represented me in a hearing, and because of my extraordinary rehabilitation, it all started after I got out of the shoe. Because of my extraordinary rehabilitation, everything was in my jacket, taking care of the sick and terminally ill inmates, my 55 educational classes, training the dogs for the handicap, the parental courses I took, everything was in there. And the fact that my mother had no immediate family member to take care of her, I was awarded an immediate release. I had that hearing, and I was immediately set free like 3 hours later.
Wow.
After all those, yeah,
did they bring you back to the joint to kind of process you out, or?
Yeah, I had 2 hours to say goodbye to everybody. Everybody was happy. And my case is I was the first inmate in the history in America, United States, to have a parental compassionate release. So guys, after I won and got out, used my case to go home and take care of their parents. So I opened the floodgates. I said president, exactly.
Yeah.
So I was very proud of that. And then since I've been out, I rebuilt relationships with my kids. I got my book published. I became a life coach. I had a very tragic event happen 10 months, 11 months ago that put me back to that dark place, and I almost gave up again. Not gave up, but I wouldn't leave my house. I was went through an extremely traumatic event. I lost my daughter. She was a state trooper. She was killed when she pulled over to take care of somebody that was a disabled motorist, and a truck hit her car. So I had grief counseling every week still. It's just the worst thing that ever happened to me in my life. It makes that 20-year sentence, the 3 years in solitary, a nothing compared to this. Like, that's all nothing. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to live.
I can only imagine, but I can't imagine, and I don't want to imagine. I hope I never have to imagine. That's heartbreaking. And the worst part is that, you know, she had become a upstanding, productive member of society. That's a reflection of your raising her to a degree. And also, you said that you gotten really close with her, where, you know, you eat dinner with her almost every day, and you could see her every day, and so you had a very close bond and relationship with her. And then for something like that tragic to happen is horrible. But she's in a better place. Remember that. You'll catch up with her soon enough. She's your guardian angel now, man. Trust me. And she wants to see you do good. She wants to see you succeed and keep grinding and winning and push your books, maybe a TV series, all of this stuff. I think you got a story that could be a TV series if it was produced right and done right. I know. Man, I don't mean to make light of your daughter, like the story of it. I breeze over it. I just don't want you dwelling on it right now. It's not, you know, it's not going to help. It's not going to help this interview. It's not going to help you. It's a horrible, tragic thing. And, you know, God bless you. Stay strong. Keep on grinding. But just one of those things, you got to just look past it, man. You just got to put it in the past. And we talked privately about this. And I said, the day that they gave you 21 years, a judge said, boom, 21 years, and hit the gavel, get the frick out of my courtroom. You didn't fall on the floor and give up, start crying, say, I can't do whatever. You said, you know, you walked out to the bullpen. They put you in there. Next thing you know, they put you in. You had to face the reality. The reality was, I'm looking down the barrel of 21 years right here. And there's only one way out, death. So I chose to live. You chose to live. Just like with this situation with your daughter. The reality is the reality. It's over. Celebrate her life, the life that she had, and never forget her. And then, you know, and just keep moving forward. Everything you do at this point should be to make her proud, and, you know, in the memory of her proud, you know. Did she have any kids? Did she have kids?
No. That's exactly. She dedicated her life to being a state trooper, and
that's cool.
You know, working those. Yeah. Well, the thing is, the only reason I bring it up is to try to help people, because, you know, I'm sure I'm not alone, and there's other people that are going through pain and hardship. Whether it doesn't have to be the loss of a kid, it could be loss of a job, loss of parents, you know, and
whatever.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to let people know, like, who are watching the video, like, you can always keep going no matter what it is. Like you said, I'm going to honor my daughter by helping people, by sharing that story. And because anybody that wants to give up or whatever, give them courage and hope and strength to keep going. Because that's what I'm doing. It wasn't easy. It's not easy. Every single day of my life is not easy forever now, but it's something that I'm going to do to honor my daughter. I'm going to keep going forward. I'm going to get a movie deal, a series deal. I'm going to continue to write books. And I'm going to continue to do the right thing and, you know, live a good, honorable life in her memory and for myself too.
I love that, man. Well done. Amen. Well said. I'm in the same boat. I mean, not with my daughter thing, but after 13 years in prison, I cleaned my shit up, got my act together, met a beautiful woman, got married. I honor her, respect her, and make her proud. The few friends and family that stuck it out with me through prison and supported me and sent me money and believed in me. When I started writing books, like I have one of my best friends who's never even read my book, but when I got out of prison, he put like $5,000 up to help me market it. We'll go to BookCon in New York City and all this stuff. He's like, I don't even need to read your book, Al. I just know you. All I know is you. And if you say you can do it, if you say you can get a movie made out of that book, I believe you can. What can I do to help? You need money. We need help. And so that's the kind of friends that you need to surround yourself with. And don't forget those people. If you get 2 or 3 or 4 people in your life, you won't get 4. You might get 2. Hold tight and make them proud. Work for them. Those are the people that I work for. Like when I'm sitting there grinding 14 hours a day on a computer or whatever, just like you do too. I mean, my only focus and reasoning for this, there's 3 things. First, God. I want to make God proud, and I want to be able to say to the world, you know what? I got this TV deal, not because I'm so talented or so good looking or whatever. I'm saying I got this TV deal because God had mercy on me. God blessed me with a remarkable talent, a remarkable story and put remarkable people in my path. So God did this. Any success that I have is a result of God's glory and mercy on me. That's a fact. Second thing is, I mean, I have my wife. I want to give her a life to where she can garden every day and she can relax and she can do all the things that she loves to do and not have to work, not have to worry about money, not have to work. And then the few friends, like, you know, your friends, those people who wrote it out with you in prison or helped you out or help you out now, you want to be able to take care of them, their family, their kids, you know, and provide them with, if not give them money, at least put them in a position to make more money. You know what I'm saying? Where maybe they can start a business, maybe they can go to school, get job training, whatever, help them succeed. That's my goal. I don't have a goal. Like, would I like to have a Lambo? I mean, yeah, it'd be fun to drive around a couple of days. I don't care about that. I like trout fishing. I like deer hunting. I like riding my 4-wheeler in the woods. Very simple, basic things. I don't need a Lambo to be happy. What would make me happy is making my loved ones happy. My 5 loved ones or whatever I got, you know, saying, hey, here's an easier ride for you. You don't have to stress. God blessed me with a gift. I used it. I worked my ass off for the last 20 years. Finally, we made it. Boom. Now you don't have to work. What's your job? Make me smile. Say something funny. Let's go to Italy, pile up with our families. We're going to have Lambos. We'll rent some Lambos and drive up and down the coast of Italy for a month, you know, staying at little Airbnbs, eating, enjoying. That's what I want to do. Enjoy my loved ones and my family. And I'm sure that's your same kind of goal with you. It's I don't know how you feel about God, but I do know that I'm sure that you're not a selfish person.
No. I'm very spiritual. I'm all about the law of attraction is my big thing. And to move forward and live a good life, the first thing anybody, including myself and yourself, needs is to love themselves. When I was that guy, before I had that awakening, and before I started helping people, I didn't like me. Yeah, it was all an act. It was all a facade.
Oh, act. Thank you. I was acting. I didn't even like me, let alone love me.
Yeah.
I hated myself.
But once you learn to love yourself, then the law of attraction and everything, all the positive energy you put out there will come back. And it has. Like, remarkable things have happened in my life since I started helping people, helping others, and loving myself.
That's God, bro. Whether you believe it or not, whether you believe in God, Jesus Christ or not, all of that is God. He's doing that. He's pulling the strings and making these things, putting people in your life at the right time, the right place. He's inspiring your mind to do your writing, your creative stuff. The gift that you have is from him. You just don't suddenly get a random gift. God, you know, just like the universe was sparked and, you know, with a big bang, boom, that was God saying, go. And anything that we do is God saying, here's your gift. Use it. What are you going to do with it? I give you this amazing gift. You're going to blow it? Or you're going to use it? Most people blow it. Most people are just like, here's what most people are scared of. They're scared of failure. Most people are terrified of failure. They won't say that, but I'm terrified of failure, but I'm not so terrified of failure to the point where I won't try in case I fail, because I don't want to fail. I'm so scared of failure that if I try, I don't want to try because if I fail, I can't take it. No, a lot of people are like that. I'm going to try. And if I fail at something, I'll pivot. I'll try a different angle. I'll approach it that way. And if that fails, I'll try it a different way. And I'll keep going until I win. And that's what winners do. That's what successful people do. Where the average person has an idea and their own friends and family go, you'll never do that, man. You can never do that. And their own friends and family are telling them, come on, man, you're wasting your time. You can't never do it. That's bullshit. If you got a real friend or a real family and you tell them, man, I have this idea for this business. I want to make this song demo. I'm going to write a book or whatever. And you tell us to your person and the first thing out of their mouth goes, damn, bro, I know you could do that. I believe you could do that. Well, what can I do to help? Can I help? You need some money. You need energy. You need time. What can I do to help? I believe in you. If anyone who does not speak to you like that, if nobody approaches you like that, get rid of them all. Say, God bless.
I do.
It could be
anybody negative, I cut them loose now.
Shit,
I really believe in my heart, and it's happening, that once you start loving yourself and you put positive energy into anything you're doing and put in your head, I'm going to do this, it happens. And negativity, if you're negative, the universe will give you exactly what you're asking for. But if you're positive, it will also do that. So people that doubt themselves and never go to that next step, like we're talking about, will never, ever accomplish what they can accomplish.
Yeah.
It's amazing. If you believe in yourself, what can happen?
It's the first thing you have to do in order to do anything great. Every single thing that's been invented, everything that great that's ever been made, that's ever been had or been created, started with one person going, I believe I can do it. I believe in me. Starting there. From that point, you work outwards. I'm going to do this now. All you got to do is draw a map. What if I want to get to this point? I give the analogy of the mountain all the time. I'm saying at the bottom of a mountain, I'm looking at the other mountain. It's huge, massive mountain, snow topped. It's freaking 20 miles to the other side of it, right? Most people will look at it and go, well, I guess I can't go over the mountain. So if I'm trying to get to point B on the other side of the mountain, nothing I can do. It's a freaking mountain in the way. I just give up, turn around. I'll make my camp here, right? But if you're determined to get to that mountain over there, I 100% guarantee you could take steps to get over that mountain, one at a time. One step, two step, and 20 freaking miles later, you're on the other side of the mountain, right? As long as you don't give up. And that's what, people need to get in their head. And it's sad because a lot of people have incredible gifts too. I will say this, God has blessed just about everyone. Well, everybody has a gift, but some people really have remarkable gifts. You saw them in prison because you got to know people intimately because you're in close quarters. But like regular everyday people that you're walking by in the street in the grocery store have fascinating, really remarkable talents and gifts, unbelievable things, And the thing, it doesn't have to be just artistic. Maybe they build, maybe they're business savvy, they're smart, they know how to trade, they do whatever, but they don't pursue their dreams because people around them have them convinced they can't do it. People around them are like, yeah, you can't do it. You're wasting your time. Never. So they just like, rather than try and fail and feel like a failure, I just won't try. I'll settle in for a life mediocrity. And this gift that I have, this incredible gift, talent, I believe that I have, will just sit there on ice for the next rest of my life. And then I'll be an old man someday going 70, 80 years old, going, I could have been. I could have done. I wish I would have. I wish I would have tried. If I only did. I don't know. That's what happens to like 99% of the world. But 1% of the people are like, you know what? I know what I got. I'm going for it. Here we go. And surround yourself with people that believe in you. So before we go, I just wanted you to tell us about the book too. What the main, there's stories that are based on your life, so it's loosely inspired by yours. But this is also a fictitious crew of guys. And what? Give me an example of one of the crazy things they get involved in, and where's the plot going with it? Where does the story go?
Well, it's the book has all their life's trials and tribulations. You have like Mexican Joe who's trying to hide the fact that he's gay. You have he's an expert hacker.
Is this guy based on a real friend of yours?
No, actually no, but he was based on a guy who I was away with that was, macho and hiding it, and
super gay.
Finally he came. Yeah, but to me, like I don't frown upon anything as long as a guy's a good dude. I don't care what they are, what color.
I wouldn't really necessarily hang around a gay dude in prison, but I don't know. You can do whatever you want to do. It's your life. I don't know, but I will say this: I will be happy to tell you my what the Bible says about it, and then you can make your own deductions or whatever. And I believe in the Bible, but I don't really care about that. So these characters, like some of them are fictitious, some of them are created based on real characters and people. And so in the street, they're doing some dirt. And then I think you told me something about wasn't there a jewel heist that went bad? I can't remember. What was it?
No, they're doing sophisticated crimes. You have the hacker who hacked into the airlines and found out what flight they had a tip of this, a guy coming from overseas with diamonds. They had a cab made up to look identical to a real, like a yellow cab you would see. And when he comes off the plane and they have his MO, he takes a cab to wherever he's going. So they made sure that they were in the front of the line. He comes out of the airport. They pick him up in the cab. The cab is airtight. It's got chloroform. They get him in the back. They press a button. They knock him out. They take him to a garage, strip him, and they take his jewels. Like it didn't go off that cleanly. There was hiccups on the way, but that's just basically the general $9.99.
Why didn't you have it to where a guy just opens a car door, puts a pistol in his head and says, "Give me this"? That's what I would have done.
Because you're at the busy airport and the state troopers all around. So
they had to. As you're driving, you just pull over at a certain corner. When we get to the corner of such and such, I'm gonna walk up and you just open the door and yank. But whatever. You're more sophisticated than I would have just pulled the pistol.
Well, that was the whole idea of it. They did it
Yeah.
sophisticated, and that's a true story. It really happened.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
my cousin did, and his crew did that.
That's crazy. Well done.
Yeah, they
So
didn't
what
want
happened?
the guy who was driving had it disguised. You're right. You could have done it that way, but they knocked him out, and it really happened.
That's great. So how the story? Where's it go? Like ultimately, there's a plot to the story. What is the plot, and how's it? Don't give me the ending. Just give me a little twist.
Well, the book starts where Vinny, the main character, Vinny Bruno, gets out of prison, and then when he gets out, he gets picked up in a limousine by his crew, but he finds out while he's away who gave him up was one of his crew members told on him. So at the beginning of the book, he leaves prison. They pull over off the highway into an old abandoned road where there's a shut down incinerator plant where Vinny knows the owner of it. And Vinny kills somebody. The first scene, the first 7 pages out of prison, he kills one of his crew members. And you don't know who it is.
Right.
Until the whole story lays out. And nobody knows till the end. And everybody that usually tries to guess and tells me, oh, it's this one, it's always wrong. Yeah. So at the end of the movie, you see how the beginning ends.
Yeah.
So you have, it's a first scene actually ends the same as the last scene, but this time the whole story unfolds in front of your eyes.
Freaking guy, man. Dude, my book is kind of similar, right? The book here, my book starts off with the main character getting out of prison. First, there's a prologue where his father is meeting with a senator whose son is the president. He's asking him to get a presidential pardon for his grandson, the mob boss. 4 years later, you flash at him in prison. He's getting released the next day on a presidential pardon. He gets out. He goes back to the city. He goes to a strip club, picks up a chick, gets laid, eats some food, goes shopping, and then goes to see the boy, who's his protettore, means his protector in Italian, his right-hand man, his best friend. He doesn't know he's out. Nobody knows he's out. And he walks into the basement of the strip club, and there's a poker game going, and his boy goes, holy shit, can't believe it. And he kicks these guys playing poker out. They're all mad, like, what the frick? They're like, get the frick out. And then he hugs him. They're both in tears. This is his best friend. Both in tears. And then the book flashes back 17 years from that point. And the whole story starts. So we're only like 3 chapters into the book. And it starts at 17 years. It works its way all the way back to the very moment that he goes to prison. Okay. So and then volume 2 picks up right where they left off, hugged up, where he had just got out of prison. And now you're going to see what happens next, if that makes sense. So I get it. The whole, the like you said, having a prologue and a teaser into the something that will play until the entire story unfolds, until you kind of begin to put the pieces together. And I love that. The Infinity Crew.
It's basically just what you just said, with more similarities between
I know
us.
It's crazy.
It starts off, he kills him, then it flashes back to his childhood, and you see it builds up to the last scene.
Right.
Is the first scene. That's crazy. They do all these robberies, everything. Yeah.
So
how they met.
My book, though, is like, it's so long. This is just volume 1. It's 500 pages. And so the way I had to do it was, like I said, and by the way, what's cool about my book is the main character, the name is Omnio, or they call him King. It's a Latin word for king. But when it flashes back 17 years, the bit starts off with this character named Johnny New York. Vonnie. His name is Vonnie. It's this kid, kind of tough kid from New York, whose parents, he's getting in trouble in New York. His brother gets murdered. His mother finds a gun in his room because he swears he's going to avenge his brother. So his mother sends him to live with an aunt and uncle in Detroit. She wanted him to escape the mafia in New York because he was getting around in it, and her brother was murdered. He's like, you know what? I'm sending you to live with my sister in Detroit. Little does he know, when they send him to go live in Detroit, he lands right in the neighborhood, ground zero of the Detroit mafia. And the main character, Omnio, is like this young, tough, like mob prodigy from the neighborhood. But they're only like 15, 16, 17 years old at the time. And they kind of, they're slowly but surely, their fates start to intersect. And at one point, Vonnie actually stops 2 hitmen for trying to kill him. And after that, he trusts them, and he makes him swear his life to him as a protettore. And anyways, you have to read the book. You'll like it. But
I ordered it.
It's I
ordered it.
Oh, you did? Cool. Glad you have to enjoy.
Yeah.
Get the I gotta get a copy of yours. I'm telling you what to do. What I want you to do is go on figure out how to get Audible. I think you sell a lot of books on Audible. A lot of people listening to this will be like, man, if this book was on Audible, I'd read it. So people are
Yep.
so busy these days. They're just like, man, I don't have time to sit down and read a book. But on my way to work, I got a 30, 40-minute commute. I can listen to this book while I'm driving, you know?
Yeah,
So
we're gonna talk about that for sure.
yeah, we got to get that done for you. So anyways, man, tell them where they can find the book. It's good. Well, I'll end up breaking this into two halves because it's too long for one. But that's cool. I mean, you got a lot of information now. I'm I interrupt a lot because we do have a bunch of remarkable similar circumstances that are remarkable kind of things that have happened to us that are very parallel. It's interesting. It's wild. You just don't think that, you know, anyone else there. I guess your mind works a lot like mine too. And the fact that you sat down and wrote this book in that format, you know, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I guess you see enough stuff in the streets, things are destined to repeat. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's that unique. You know what I'm saying? You spend enough time in the street doing what you did and where you did it, and I did the same shit where I did it, and ultimately our paths were very similar. We both ended up in prison very long time. We both ready to kill ourselves in the hole. We both were wild in prison, but then we finally was like, hell with it. I'm going to change. I'm going to have a better life, and then I'm going to use this gift I have as a writer, and I'm going to write. And now I'm going to redeem myself. I'm going to be the most positive person I can be. I'm trying to inspire people, inspire hope, and do some big things, create, you know, an empire. And that's what your goal is, right?
Yes. Actually, this is an anomaly though, because usually the first part of the story is the end. We continue the story to redemption, helping people. And how many people do you know wrote books? Think about it. Not very few. I know.
Mean, I have a radio show that has authors, so I know a lot of. But average person doesn't.
Well, how many friends? How many of your friends wrote books? I don't know. I have any. Yeah, exactly. So we did the same things, and the ending is what makes it remarkable. The beginning, it's like 90% of the people. The redemption and the ending and the writing the books and keeping it going. That's very rare.
That's very rare. Yeah, exactly.
That's the diamond.
How many people? Well, this is, you know, I'm working on a TV project, and I think you're aware of what it's about, but I can't talk about what it's about. I'm about to be doing a really big podcast on Monday. Really big podcast. And it's like it just kind of popped up. I took the opportunity to do it. I'm not going to go on. I'll go back on later when we're promoting the show with like the cast and the directors and all that. But this, I can't talk about this TV project, which kind of sucks. But ultimately, man, that's what makes it so unique. You have all these elements in street life and street guys and gangster mafia, blah 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 blah. But the ending of redemption is what makes it so unique, and that's why I think your story. Who knows, bro? Who knows? A year or two from now, I may be producing a freaking series based on Infinity Crew set in Boston. You know, there's a huge market for it. I'm sure people all over the East Coast would love it. You know, kind of a street guy, and I love that it's not mafia. It's not hardcore mafia. Just like mine, there's an element of the mafia to it. I was around some mobsters. I was around some old mafioso. Had a few cousins involved, and I did a few things. But my story isn't about the mafia. I mean, it's just I was just a knucklehead and a thug, and I was a gangster because I carried a gun and beat and robbed people and hijacked motherfuckers, and I was a gangster. I was way more gangster than 90% of the mafia gangsters. They were racketeers, loan sharks and bookies and crap like that, you know, then bid riggings, whatever. But they weren't pulling pistols out and smashing people in the face with it and robbing them for, you know, 20 pounds of weed. That's what I did. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, that's what you were too. Just kind of an industrious young thug. Not mob, but you were around mob. You were influenced by the mob. Your uncle, your dad, you know, see what I'm saying? All these things influence your behavior. Same thing with me. All those things influence my behavior. But it's not a mafia story. It's bigger than a mafia story. The mafia stories are very cliche. You know, hey, Paulie, get the baby, like Tony Soprano. It's just dumb. You know, just like if you watch the Tulsa King. If you watch that new series, I mean, it's funny. It's spoofy. It's a satire. But it's not realistic at all. It's goofy. It's absolutely nothing like that real mafia or a real mafia. It's a cartoon, basically, a living cartoon. That's fun. It's entertaining if you like that type of thing. But it's not gritty and real. Your story is gritty and real, and the stuff that you did coming up in the street, stuff that I did in the street was gritty and real. And it's not the stuff that they usually make TV shows about. They don't make shows, movies about it. They do Gotti's mob bosses, and they do freaking these big Goodfellas, this big heist, and they always the Godfather. They don't really do a series based on the little guy who wakes up in the morning, puts a pistol in his waist, and says, "I got to go make a buck today because I got bills to pay, or I got a drug habit, or I got whatever. I'm going to go see Tommy, Joey, Billy, Mike, see each one of these guys, see who's got something on the floor that I can make some money. Or we can hijack this truck, or we can rob this guy, or so-and-so just got about 50 pounds of weed, we can rob him. We're gonna, whatever the case is, those stories don't make it to the screen very often, but they I think they should.
My guys actually rival the Mafia. They
beef out with them.
Yeah, my phone just went a low battery. That's why I stopped. Yeah, they actually rival the Mafia. They're like, they don't take orders from anybody. They do their own thing, and they try to make them pay tribute. It's not happening.
You, man, that's what for my uncle. My uncle was like, he told me flat out. He's like, you don't want to be in the mob. Mob's for suckers. Mob's a suckers play. It's all it is. I'm like, what do you mean? We grew up around the mob. Mob's everywhere around us. He's like, it's a suckers play. These old men, all they do, somebody suckered them back when they were 20, 15, 20, 25 years old. Some old man got in their ear and whispered, the Mafia is this romantic, incredible thing that you want to be part of. Come in with us, and so they get the kid thinking it's this romantic big thing. It's so beautiful. And then like, give me some of your money. I'll protect you from this guy, that guy, that guy. 10 years later, it's like the old man says, listen, I need you to kill this guy. And when you do, I'm going to go on record with the boss, and you're going to take the oath, and you're going to be one of us. So now you got to go kill this guy. So now all they do is trick you into taking some of your money and then convince you to kill a guy for them. Now they got that lorded over you forever. And then they sit back and you have to pay them a chunk of your money for the rest of your life. And they want you to go to recruit more dumb kids. And it's always the troubled kids. They don't recruit the smart guys that are straight A students, have the good parents. You know what I'm saying? Those guys didn't even bother with. They go after the guy who comes from the broken home, the drunk father, the no father, the messed up kid, the troublemaker, the fighting kid. That was me. That was you. That's who they go after. And I was like, I saw that from afar. I'm like, man, I don't want that. I never would want that. I will take advantage of my relation to them, meaning if they ask me to do something that I can make a buck on, I'll do it. If they ask me to freaking, go smash a guy, I'll do it out of respect, because it's easy to smash a guy. I was always smashing guys. Like, so, okay, they asked me to, but I didn't really care to in the mob. And they would say to me jokingly, Alonzo, you can't beat everybody with your fist. And I said, well, until somebody does. And they go, somebody's going to come with this. And I go, well, I got one too. You know what I'm saying? So they better be a good shot. That's what I tell them. But they were always trying to be funny and imply that, just because you're a tough guy, don't mean you can't get got. I'm like, who's going to get me? Some fat old mob dude? You? I don't get it. The guys in the street that were in the mob, they weren't doing half the gangster shit that I was doing. So who should be scared, me or them? I just didn't see it like that. So I like the way your crew is thinking like that. Yeah.
Yes. So you can find my book on Amazon or 70 other selling platforms.
Cool.
I'm the Convicted Vegan on Instagram. Anthony J.
Check him out.
He's
got a pretty big Instagram following. Convicted Vegan. I like that. He guy's a vegan. Can't do it. But that's good. I'm glad that you do. If you like it, if it works for you, works for you. I don't eat a lot of meat. If I don't eat a lot of meat, but I eat some meat. So maybe one day we'll have to have you back on the Wise Guy Wednesday, and we can talk about the vegan diet. Like talk about, we can debate, the pros and cons of meat and vegetables.
Yeah. So my book as you've seen, all 5-star ratings. The problem is, having done all that time in prison, I don't have any really. My daughter, God rest her soul, was actually helping me a lot with the technology end, because I'm really bad. I just recently learned how to use write scripts, so I was really leaning on her for the technology thing. So I'm struggling right now, but I'm learning.
Listen,
YouTube
gotta learn YouTube. Exactly. Google and YouTube, they show you. Just go to YouTube and type in anything that you need to learn. There'll be a video that can help you learn it. So you can do it, bro. I got faith in you. I
just learned how to use Final Draft myself. Before that, I was just typing everything out, and she would do it for me. But you know, I'm moving forward.
I have
like I
another
said,
software that's like Final Draft. I didn't like Final Draft, so I have this other stuff that is like it, but it works easier for me. But I'm probably
Really?
gonna have to learn Final Draft because formatting that they're going to want exactly is going to be Final Draft formatting. So anyway, so you can do it,
yes,
bro.
yeah.
it
Seems
up.
like the industry guys all wanted in Final Draft.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, keep it up, man.
So
Keep
anyway,
grinding.
I'm moving forward. I'm doing the best I can, one day at a time.
Infinity
Thank
Crew, you guys. Check out this man's book, man. Spend the freaking $19, whatever it is, book, and buy a good book. This is inspired by true events, by real characters, real life. This guy did 21 years in prison. He's got an amazing story, very smart. Support him. Not only that, but buy his book and enjoy it. He's selling you a product that's every bit worth $15. You know, all the entertainment that you're going to get from it, and plus you're supporting a convict who's coming back. What do they call those? Returning citizen, and they're good.
Trying to rise. I'm rising like the phoenix. Help me.
That's right. That's right. Ryan, like to help him rise like a phoenix. You guys, check him out. So, you don't have a website though, do you?
Yes, I do. The
What
convicted www.theconvictedvegan.com.
All right, go to his website and learn more about him, theconvictedvegan.com. But make sure you check out his book. It's on Amazon. Hopefully it'll be on Audible soon. And
Yes, I will.
And you'll see more of this guy around. I think you ain't seen the last of this guy. I just want to get him on there on a video and have some fun with him because I got a lot of parallels and interesting coincidences. Which I'm
gonna meet you in person someday. I got the probation over my head, but I'll be off in a couple of years. I'm trying to get it squashed early.
Well, I'm going to be in New York probably in a couple of weeks, but that's probably as close as I'll get to you. But anyways, we'll see. God bless you.
All right,
man.
awesome.
Keep up the good work, man. Keep up the work. Everybody else, hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna break this in 2 parts. So, yeah.
Former prisoner and inmate.
You did it. What are you doing, Guns?
You bit the hell out of him.
Wanna see you with your hands up. Going straight to the sky, let me see you put your hands up. Cause we do till we die and we on another level.
I'm at New York City.
To the rest of your body, got a piece of the pie. Told you once, told you twice that we only got one life.
On the way to achieve success